Okech, so I can
We
hear.
are live right this moment. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Judy Herman, author of Beyond Messy Relationships, and I have this wonderful privilege of introducing you to an amazing woman. Her name is Lilian Okech, and she is like, I consider her one of my other soul sisters. We both spoke at the Women's Summit, sharing Les Brown's platform. We have both been mentored by our beloved legendary Les Brown. So I thank you so much for being here, Lilian.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you know, International Women's Day, I feel like I am traveling, even though we're on the screen. I have not had to update my passport yet, but I have had such multicultural experiences. And your story certainly is one that just opens up my eyes, and I'm sure the eyes of others who heard you. Now, first of all, I want to share with you, because you may not know this about me, Lilian, but years ago, I used to work at a crisis, what we call a crisis pregnancy center, right? Girls come in, get free pregnancy tests. And then also I worked in the post-abortion recovery ministry for many years, which I'm looking back and I see that that has been that was the seeds planted for me in my profession today as a licensed professional counselor. So I would love for you to share with folks, because sometimes we can get so narrow focused in our own culture here in America, but you've been here just since the age of 15, right?
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. My name is Lilian Okech, and I was born in refugees camp in Uganda. I live in refugees camp for 15 years, and in '05 we have the opportunity to come to America. Just like any little girls, I have a big dream. I want to help my community. I always have a heart to help community. And when I was in 10th grade, I was just like 1 year and a half in America, and then I got pregnant. And because of my culture, I have to marry after him. I don't even know this man that well, but I have to marry after him. And I live in a knowledge relationship. The reason why I say a knowledge relationship, because there's a big difference between abusive relationship and a knowledge. When you're living in a knowledge relationship, you know something is not right, but you don't have enough knowledge to say, I am me, I love me, I can get out and I can make it in life. Okay.
Oh, let me hold that for a moment, because I think this is really profound. You're really opening up my perspective. There is a difference, and I think for others too, there's a difference between, you say, an abusive or a toxic relationship versus a knowledge relationship. Is that what
Yes.
you're saying? And you
Yes.
were married off at a very young age, what, 15, 16 years old?
Yes.
And your culture didn't give you this choice to not marry this man. But now, is he a lot older than you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Thank you for letting me hold that, because I really want to get grounded. There's a lot of people that listen, Lilian, that they might be people that have come to counseling in the past, or maybe they would never come to counseling. But I want to bring out this and let you know that you're not alone when you are going through your difficulties. If there's any teenagers here that are young moms or pregnant, or even who have experienced abortion, even if you're in your years and years have gone on and you have that in your past, it's really good to come to some light and be able to listen to Lilian's story and to mine as well. But here we are, two women, right?
Yes.
Very different cultures. And you've got 4 boys. I've got four children that I've raised that are now adults. But your story resonates so deeply with young moms, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes.
And older moms even. But I just wanted to hold that, because if you can expound a little bit more on that knowledge versus maybe manipulative or toxic or abusive.
Yes. Oh, the reason why I said that is because when I look back in my relationship, living with this man for 10 years, I'm like, how did this even was possible? Like, he say yellow, I say red. He say green, I say blue. Like, we are in completely different world. He think differently, I think differently. And then, finally when I turned 25, that is the age of maturing.
Mm.
When I
For
turned
sure.
when I turned 25, then it's like, whoa, okay, wait a minute. There's something not right here. And thank God for Les Brown. I love Les Brown. He's like a father to me.
Oh,
I hear, let's say, some people, they're living together or dying together.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm dying here because I'm losing my hair with the stress.
Yes, yes. I do want to kind of also acknowledge that. So you grew up, right, in these 10 years that you were married to this man. You
Yes.
increase your awareness, which is part of what that's my message in the book is like breathing fresh air. You're growing your awareness. You become 25, which, it's a magical number for some, and for some it's later, but your brain's not totally online until then. And you have this awakening. So did you have your 4 boys within that first marriage then?
Yes, I have my 4 boys with this first marriage, and I tell people, I'm like, some people they plan for their kid, decorate the room and making sure that their kid come out in this wonderful environment. I did not plan for any of my kid, but I'm telling you, I love my boys to death. I love them. I cannot imagine life without them. But I not plan for any of them. And if you live in those toxic or acknowledged relationship, the baby will just pop out of nowhere.
Oh my goodness, I love that baby pops out of nowhere. Yeah, yes, I remember there was a time in my life early on, Lilian, and I got to tell you this. And honestly, I'm disclosing something that I've never disclosed publicly. But we used to joke about my name being in the dictionary under fertility. Having babies, either I was nursing a baby or pregnant with a baby, having a baby, but there's a lot because women give, don't they? I mean, we
Yes,
do. I want to zone into your core message because Lilian, I caught that. Like we as women need to acknowledge our worthiness, and I love it because you wore your crown for that presentation, and
yes,
it really zoned into me because so many of us, we believe that, oh, if we take care of ourselves, or we're going to be like, we're too, what do you call it, too confident, or we're selfish, but that's not the case at all. We need to claim our royalty, don't we? And
yes,
because you were so spot on in your message when you were talking about, hey, if mom in the family, or wife in the family is not being nurtured, the whole family suffers. And
yes,
those, you presented some powerful statistics too, didn't you, for here in America
yes.
about single moms. Do you want to share some of that?
Yes, the struggle here is real, and this is just a big problem in our community, in our society, in our nation, because the number of single mother are rising, and so many of our young men growing up with in a single mother house, and it's very difficult to teach those men what manhood is really about.
Mm,
Like my kid, I want them to grow up to be somebody. I want them to grow up to treat a woman right, for them to know that they are the man of the house,
mm, mm,
and to be the man that God created them to be. And if the man character or the model of the man is not in the house, then for you as a single mother, like for me, my hand is like stressed, like
mm,
who should I grab? Who should I take to the spot? Who should I take to the piano lesson? Who should I like? I feel overwhelmed.
mm,
And for that matter, my kid will not get everything that they desire to get when they're young, and that can be a struggle for them when they're older. So that's why I stand with our men. I I motivate women too, but my message, and even if you go on my website, I really motivate men to like, man, you need to man up, and
yeah.
be in your children life. Take them to practice, help that single mother out. If things didn't work out, don't focus on your ex-wife or your ex-husband.
Mm,
Focus on your kid, because
mhm,
we are raising this generation that to come. If we don't wake up and and paying attention, like, this is not about me. Like me and my ex, we really don't talk. But I try to find a way. I say, okay, even though we don't talk, this is your children.
yeah.
You have to take them, you have to spend time with them, you have to be with them. I don't care how you think about me. I don't care what you say about me. What I care about is what you bring in this world, and you have to step up and do your job.
Oh, Lillian, I so appreciate that because we can walk away and I get this, like there's a victim and there's a perpetrator, right? Or
Hmm.
there and so here's what drives behaviors that are shameful is shame. It's like being stuck in shame. It's
Hmm.
shame that drives addictions. It's shame that drives poor judgment. It's shame that will let you not even, like you wake up and you say, what's the use? So here's the three things that keep shame intact is that judgment, and that secrecy, and that silence. So that's why it is so very vital to come to a therapist. But no, we don't want men to be perpetrators. We don't want to identify them as that. They're wounded, right? And if you are a man that is really struggling, if you're listening to this and you're struggling with, you haven't paid your child support, and since you're not paying child support, then that drives you into drinking or drugs or whatever to disconnect. I'm telling you, your life is worth it. You are so worth going through this journey of facing yourself and learning how to forgive yourself, how to make amends, how to say, I'm sorry. It makes you even more of a man. But here's the thing, you probably have seen this, Lillian, our culture, it grooms us to be certain ways, doesn't it? Now, I know you're from Uganda and you were raised in a refugee camp. I cannot imagine that. I
Right.
can't imagine the courage that your mom had in raising you. And you have some remarkable courage. I mean, this kind of switching a little bit, but I loved in your speech how you were able to connect some the women in your life that have made an influence. Now, whether you had a personal relationship with them or whether you heard their stories, you were able to own the courage. So I don't know. I'm going all over the place.
No, I think you're good, and I just want to add one more thing on this being a single mom, and I think for us women too, we have
Yeah,
to step.
hold on. Can you put your volume up just a teeny bit? I don't know if it's coming across or not. Just make sure
Uh,
I can
can
hear.
you hear me?
I can hear you better. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just want to make some a little bit point here, even for us single women too. Uh, those men that they're single father, or when you go through divorce, they're going through life the same as you. So give them a break to have some time with their kid. Don't let money come between uh, the father of a child with a child. And
Mm,
so it's very important because this child that you're raising is not about money. It's about you raising somebody to be somebody in this world. So whether he pays child support or not, the relationship with a child with his father is very important, just like the relationship between a mother and a child.
yeah, that I appreciate you sharing that. So, so here's what I hear is there's a lot of women who try to make the relationship work with the child's father. Now, if the child father has a drug addiction or something like that, and they try to make it work, or they try to say, "Oh, your dad loves you," even though da 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 da, but it's almost that they try too hard. So I know that that's an issue with some, but yes, if you can let go of the resentment, of the anger, see that X as a human being who
Yeah.
has this bond with your child, that's a good thing. But
Mhm.
if you're going to constantly criticize them, guess what? You're going to get criticism back, right?
Yeah.
And but I tell you what, and you know this because you're going into studying to be a psychologist. You're going to have, oh my gosh, an amazing psychology practice, I'm sure, as time goes on, Lillian, because your experiences are so remarkable. But I say all that to say, yes, you get this reciprocal relationship. It's like, my book, Beyond Messy Relationships. Little do we know most of the time how we are actually inviting the behavior or the attitude that we do not want. from
Right.
the other. And we're like, we don't know that we're actually co-creating the messiness in our relationship.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's really good. I guess it's what I think my point being is, as a woman, to wear your crown, it does mean to stand firm in your dignity,
Mm.
love, and
Yes.
worthiness.
Yes.
And it also means to teach your children to do that as well. So, in other words, you do not want to continue in a relationship that is going to groom your boys, if you're raising boys or girls for that matter, to treat you disrespectfully if their dad is treating you that way. So, anyway,
Right.
I don't know. I could get off on a soapbox on
You're
that
good.
one. Yeah. Did you resonate with that, Lillian? I'm curious with where you are at this point.
No, I read it. I appreciate you saying that, and that is what I believe, and that is the reason why I want to be a psychologist, so I can like um go in the human mind and to see how they think and how I can better off help our community, because um I I don't want to go ahead of time. I know you have some question to ask me, so
Yeah. Okay. And I know sometimes these goes a little bit longer, but yes. And you know what? The beauty about being in this mental health profession, it does require us as mental health providers to continually grow. And not only are we equipping ourselves. So I know I do work with some like licensed or those that are getting their licensed, and I'm a clinical supervisor. So I just want to say this: if you're a therapist or you're a psychologist or anybody that is studying in this field, that it's going to really enrich your life too, because not only are you learning how to help others, but you're really facing, this profession requires for you to do your own soul searching and continually grow in your awareness as well. Okay, so back to my questions that I had prepared. So yes, you kind of hit on the second one about what's led you to this point to speak out. I don't know if you want to share any more about that, Lillian, if you had anything of it that you just needed to, like, were bubbling up to share.
yes, I think what led me into being a motivational speaker or a family psychology or anything that to do with mental health is because I come from a place where women don't have no voice.
Mm, mm,
I believe, I don't know how many, because my partner from South Sudan and I am Sudanese. I don't know how many Sudanese women there that they stand up coming international saying enough is enough. We too have a voice. You know, we too can be somebody. And my bigger reason for being here and finding you, Judy, and speaking with you is I want to tell all the young women, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter whether, there was war in your country or you were refugees or you were, abusive or sexual abuse or whatever the case
mm,
might be. If I can make it, you too can make it.
mm,
Yesterday, I have to speak with this young girl, from South Sudan, and she was 12 years old. Uh, Her father lived here, but her father never take her time to come in her life. And as soon as I start talking to her, she started cry.
mm,
And that make my work more valuable, that my work is needed than ever before to tell those young girls, I too grow up without a father and I'm making it in life and you too can make it in life.
mm. That just gives me I'm not kidding. I've got goosebumps right now as I hear you, Lillian. I really do. And you know that when you touch people and they have an emotional response like that, you know that you are speaking the message that God has given you to speak. And it has been a beautiful thing to be trained by Les Brown and his program. It's just been wonderful. So let me ask you this. What's the one thing? I know this is kind of maybe kind of a challenging question, but I'm asking everybody. What is one thing you would like people to know in order to breathe in fresh air? And I use this as an acronym in my book about breathing fresh air, the A being awareness, and the I is intentionality, and the R is risk for growth. Can you leave us with one thing?
I don't know if it can be one thing, but I will try. For me, it's finding myself, finding who Lilian really is. Because my name is Lily, for real, but I remember when I was lost. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. You know, when you're lost, so many negative things come in your mind. You know, maybe drug or alcohol, or maybe take your life away, or anything like that. But I remember I was sitting in the sun. It was like around June. When I sit there, I hear a strong voice said, "You are Queen Lilian." And I said, "What?" And that's why I introduced myself as Queen Lilian, because that voice is the one helped me to exhale the precious hair I have ever taken. For me to go in the mirror and say, "Hey, Queen."
Oh, Lil,
So, yes, finding yourself your fresh hair is what I stand for.
my goodness, I've got to share. Now, you're talking about June of 2020. Is that what you're talking about?
No, that was June of 20, no, June of '07.
Okay, okay. This
That
has
when
been
I
a
find
journey.
myself.
This is a journey. And that's
Yes,
what I really want people to know too. This is a journey. So whatever your next right step is, there is a point in your life. We all have them. We all have these transitions, these opportunities. I call them divine invitations. So what happened with you and what you're describing to me, that is like a divine invitation. God is getting your attention, say, "Hey, Lilian, you are queen."
yes.
That's a turning point. And so what is your turning point? That's, I guess I want to challenge our listeners with, tune in. What is your turning point? What is yours? What do you need to know about you? So anyway, hey, thank you so much. Now tell folks how they can get in touch with you.
You can go lilianokech.com if you want to read more about me on my website, or my Facebook page is Lilian Okech, and Instagram Lilian Okech, or LinkedIn is all the same name. You can find me there.
All right, we're gonna, and we'll put the spell, well, the spelling is in the title here, but we're gonna, further comment so that you can just click on where to go. And this will also be on YouTube. So here's what I'd like for you to do. If this message resonates with you, if you're listening to this either live or replay, and this message resonates, please share it. Share it with who you think would really benefit from this. And also like and comment. We'd love to have that because we want to know people are watching. Thank you so much, Lilian. You've been such a soul sister. And I just so appreciate you taking me out of my own culture box to be able to relate to you in this way. I believe, honestly, our connection through this Women's Summit, and we met ahead of time, by the way, for folks
Yes.
who don't know, we met ahead of time, kind of practiced our speeches in front of each other. So there's something about that. And so I want, thank you so much. All right.
Oh, I just want to say thank you. I love you. Keep doing what you do. And yes, we are sister soul forever.
Yes, absolutely. That's a bond there. Love you too, Lilian. Thank you.
Thank you.